So 1 month review. This laptop basically holds its value. I was never disappointed with that. The workflow on the Mac is much better than on Windows, and I do not think that I will ever come back to the Windows because of the nice features that Apple offers. One thing that I don't like about this workflow is that you have to press Command-C to copy, but if you want to switch the tabs in a web browser, you have to press, I think, Option and Tab on Mac. It's a different workflow than it is on Windows. On Windows you would use only control for both copying or switching the tabs. And another thing that I do not like the workflow on Mac is that it doesn't have the default settings for switching, for actually expanding the window for the whole screen. You have to install the software for that basic thing. Another thing that I don't like is the buffer clipboard. You have on Windows, when you copy something, it automatically goes to this buffer place, and with a combination of keys, Windows plus V, you could access this buffer and place any text from that buffer into the area. I like the feature that when you restart any Mac, you would get the option to open the previously used windows and apps. And it does work. When you restart Mac, everything that you've been working on saves and opens up on the next restart. Although there is one problem: when you use multiple workplaces, so multiple desktops on Mac, sometimes they're not open on the workplaces where they've been used. So it's all squished in one workplace, and you have to separate each window, each app into the different workplace where you usually put different tasks grouped. Another thing about these workplaces is you cannot set a custom name for a workplace. So there would be workplace 1, workplace 2, workplace 3, or whatever it is called on Mac, I don't remember already. The battery on this Mac is top-notch. You can easily work for 11-12 hours. You can watch YouTube videos, you can web browsing, you could do a lot of stuff, some like day-to-day life tasks, I would say. But when it comes to heavy programs such as IntelliJ for programming and Final Cut Pro, obviously the battery life would go down. And another thing that I noticed, sometimes it gets hot. This panel gets really hot, that to the point that it is not comfortable to use. And what is important, the fans do not turn on. You have to download the third-party app to manually control the fans. That sucks, to be honest, because M1 chip would not hit to that level as this MacBook does. And when you value the comfortable usage of a laptop, you should consider buying M1. Another thing that I like about it is speakers. They are perfectly loud, they have bass, and they're more than enough for an average user. And I have really small JBL speaker. It has average basses, and because of the size of it, and this Mac basically does better sound than that JBL speaker itself. And you can save up some money for the speaker if you want to buy MacBook Pro. The charging speed is sufficient for anyone. 1 hour and you're ready to work again for another day, if you of course use web browser and other simple tasks. Camera is fine, it's good for video calls, nothing really special about that, nothing terrible, just an average. And the trackpad, of course, it is, as many people claim the best that you can get from any laptop. It's one big pleasure using the trackpad. Keyboard is fine, nothing special. Although I bought keyboard from another MacBook that has been used, so it's basically one solid keyboard that you could take off the keycaps from it and then place it here. And I called to Apple support so they could do that for me, and they told me that it's not possible because in this way the warranty for this MacBook would go away and they will not do that for me. And they said, if you do this and we notice, the warranty will be gone. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is just keyboard. How is it possible to lose the warranty because of the exchange in the keycaps? It's nonsense. Nevertheless, I'm planning to change the keycaps as soon as I come back to home from my travels. Currently I'm in Switzerland, and I'll do that. And if I ever go to Apple Store, I will just basically switch the keycaps to original, to the German, and no warranty is lost. My version has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm really glad that I chose that option because I have zillion tabs open, I have many programs open, and this 32 is basically perfect for this type of workflow. And if you know that you don't use that many of the tabs and programs, you could consider buying 16 gigs. Yet for me it was a right call to do, and I'm really satisfied with my option. 1 terabyte of memory is fine. I'm planning to use this laptop for two things. One is programming, the second is for videography and YouTube. And in my process of thinking, I was considering having 1 terabyte, and I knew that would not probably be sufficient for videography, but there is always an option to keep the all media on external hard drive, and that's what I'm planning to do. It's much better than to have everything on one laptop, because and you get the second version on second laptop and you want to transfer between these two laptops, it generally be harder to transfer all files from one laptop directly to the second. It's usually better to use some type of external drive, such as external SSD drive, and then load to there and then use it as a proxy, and then upload to the second laptop. Of course, there is service such as Dropbox. Dropbox? Is it how it's called? Yeah, Dropbox. And of course you have to pay for that, a monthly fee. And in my day-to-day life, I usually minimize all subscriptions to almost zero, because I don't like paying on monthly base for any subscription whatsoever. So Dropbox is kind of like off the list for me. Another option would be having basically a big storage space on MacBook, but yeah, I don't want this, yeah, because of the first reason that I mentioned. And you're basically stuck with the third option, using the external hard drive and have all media over there. That would basically works for me. This is currently what I'm using, the SanDisk, that is only 250 gigabytes of SSD. Yeah, right now I don't have many videos. I just started the YouTube channel. As time will show, I will decide whether to get a really big SSD disk for 4 terabytes or something smaller, or another option, as I already mentioned that Dropbox could be an option. Maybe I will change my mind in the future, but you never know, and I don't want to pay a lot of money for additional space on my Mac just in case, because you never know what's going to be in the future. Just have to get everything right on the basis first. Like in my case, I knew that I'm gonna program, I need a lot of RAM memory, so I opt for 32 gigabytes. I knew that 1 terabyte would be more or less enough for tech programs, that is for sure, and some personal files. I knew all about that. so I decided not to go with a bigger storage, but to increase the RAM. Yeah, and also knew that I want the best processor that I could get, because this laptop is for 7 to 10 years at least, in my opinion. So I had chosen the option with the best CPU, GPU amount, of course, that is out there for laptop, because I also want this to be portable, not to be stuck in one place. And that's what I came to. Exactly this model that has 32 gigs of RAM, has 1 terabyte of memory. How many of GPU cores it has? I don't remember. And 12 cores of CPU. Another thing that I like about this is the size of it. It's overall really slim. The bezels are that slim. The lid is also super thin. What I don't like about this design is the notch size. It looks ugly as any notch on iPhone, and the position of the arrow keys. They could come up with a better design, having bigger keycaps to the right and to the left. And I would like to see a better screen material than this retina or retina, whatever we call it, because it's so easily to scratch. It's super easy, just touch it and it feels like it's gonna have a scratch on it. It is good that Apple covers the screen damages that come because of regular usage, and they will eventually come. You just have to prevent them as much as possible. Thus I bought these fiber clothes. You're supposed to put them on a keyboard to cover it fully, and theoretically it should prevent the screen to be damaged by the keyboard, because when you have a lot of stuff in your backpack, it could squash the laptop to the point that the screen touches the keyboard surface, and it's gonna lead to the permanent damage of the anti-reflection coating on the screen. Nevertheless, if I ever had a chance, I would buy the exact same model without any doubt. Although I would keep in mind that this display is not scratch resistant and you have to be extra careful, because I already have some small damages on it. I hope this video was useful for people who are considering buying this MacBook Pro Max M2 chip. See you next time.